We open in space in the year 2219, seeing a ship, the Boken Shah, a Weyland-Yutani exploration craft, returning from the planet Yana 7BA, 4 days behind its schedule, floating in space. However, the engines soon go out as it drifts off its path into the far reaches of space. We cut to Earth and we see a gateway space station, where there is word of the ship, the Boken Shah, drifting off its course. And then when they try to make contact with it, there is merely static and no response from the crew. We see a large board meeting where numerous Weyland-Yutani executives are arguing with each other. Some argue that they must have found something and are stealing it, and others are arguing that the ship must have malfunctioned. Then the doors open, everyone turns to it, silent, and in walks Ellen Ripley. Does anyone want to tell me how in the fuck a 154,000 ton craft goes missing? Ma'am, we hear your concerns, and of course we are aware of your previous, experiences, but surely you must see this as merely a fault. That ship is 150 years old. There's bound to be a fault eventually with it. If I'm to assume correctly, you have 8 minimum wage employees on a mission to a foreign world. God knows what they found on its potential value. Yes, Mr. Thomas, but surely they would know that Weyland-Yutani would handsomely reward them for any otherworldly resources. Mr. Bates, if I'm not mistaken, it's that sort of thinking which is the reason that this company was deemed responsible for the deaths of all those on LV-426. Sorry, Ellen, the problem is that we must go to them and recover the crew. We have a rescue team prepared to leave dry dock in 0500 hours. On whose authority? He doesn't reply. Ma'am, if we could get a team out to the ship, repair it, and then simply be able to return it or tow it back, we'd be fine. It'll only take a month or 2 to reach. By that time, they could be dead. There are enough rations to last them 4 years out there. You know what I mean, Bates. Your team will leave as scheduled. However, they will be accompanied by myself and my daughter. Jesus Christ. Ripley, you cannot be serious. Bates, you heard my orders. She gets up and leaves. Bates, meanwhile, is sitting there embarrassed, Thomas smiling at him. We cut to Ripley in her office. Ma'am, your daughter is here to see you. Send her in. Newt comes in and we see that Ripley and Hicks are now married. A photo of them and Newt is on her desk. They embrace. Got a call from Dad. They arrive in an hour. Mum, it'll be fine. Ripley stares out into the far reaches of space. I know. But if there's a chance... She walks up to her and they embrace. Hey, I trust you. We see the two head down to dry dock, where Hicks arrives back from his reconnaissance mission from the Delta system, where the three unite for the first time in months. We then cut to them having dinner on the station, where they discuss the mission, and Ripley tells Hicks that she and Newt will be heading off to recover the Boken Shah, and asks him to control things at the station. Ripley and Newt then set off on the starship Tangjin, with a small rescue crew as they traverse the galaxy. Collins, the leader, Josh and Ellie, 2 other soldiers, and Kyle, a young brash serviceman who is still nervous about the mission. Before hypersleep, Ripley starts to get flashes of the aliens. However, she overcomes them, remembering defeating the Queen. A month passes before they finally reach a large ship, docking into the barren ship. Lights are off, engines shut down, merely drifting aimlessly through space. A titanic ship, 3 times the size of the Nostromo, Ripley leading the mission into the large ship, noticing large empty rooms with no one there, merely just the ancient technology. They gather in the main living quarters, and they split up. Ripley, Newt, and one of the junior staffers, Kyle, and then Josh, Ellie, and Collins go into another area, all armed with pulse rifles. They go over the entire ship, finding nothing, no life, merely some ants eating the rations left, before leaving the ship unaware of what has happened and where the crew is. Ripley communicates back to the space station that there was no sign of life or anything sinister that had happened on the cruise, however noting that the escape pod had been jettisoned. They get back onto the Tangjin, Josh and Ellie taking the ship's weapons as well. They head into cryosleep, Josh placing them all into a deep sleep. We then cut back to Hicks, who is having trouble at Weyland-Yutani, as Bates has begun to start rallying employees against Ripley, and no one is taking Six seriously enough. So one night he sneaks out and starts to look into the Boken Shah, and finds that there should be nothing wrong with it, and escapes before Bates almost finds him in the room. A day later, Ripley is awoken, completely at random, noticing a crack in the glass. She wakes up and looks around the pods, getting a horrifying vision. Kyle is dead, a massive hole in his chest. She quickly seals off the room and wakes up the others. "Which one of you did it?" She screams at Josh, Ellie, and Collins. She and Newt corner them with a gun. She threatens to kill them before Josh reveals what had happened, saying that he was going to be paid handsomely. Ripley realizes that this was all set up by Weyland-Yutani, asking if there was a Boken Shah to begin with. Josh telling her there was. He is about to continue when he takes Ellie and holds a knife to her neck, slowly backing away. Ripley, Newt, and Collins backing him into a large industrial sector of the ship, before they approach a dark corner where a massive black creature appears, snatching Josh and retreating into the shadows as Ripley and Newt blast the area. They reconvene and realize they need to take out the alien before they get to Earth, sending a distress signal as an unseen figure quickly shuts it down. The ship speeding towards the gateway station. They try to kill the alien multiple times, however they are unsuccessful, as it kills Ellie in her sleep and then takes out Collins as they approach the station. They communicate with Hicks and tells them that the alien is alive and that they can't take control of the ship. Then Hicks goes to confront Bates, but it is revealed that Thomas was the one taking charge of the mutiny instead, and they attempt to kill Hicks, but he manages to escape. Ripley and Newt manage to corner the creature and kill it by luring it into the engines and blasting it, as they look around to reveal that the space station has come into sight. As they get off the ship, they are arrested and taken to a cell and charged with the murder of the rescue team. However, when a group goes in to inspect the ship, it is revealed that there is a second alien that was birthed from Josh. At that moment, Hicks arrives and breaks the two out of the prison before confronting Thomas, who reveals that they blew up the Boken Shah, which was an exact model of the ship called the Artemis, which had lied dormant for a century after, when returning from a mission from LV-426, was lost, with the crew presumed dead until a life signal was detected on the ship, and they lured the Boken Shah into its path in order to have a valid reason to explore the Artemis. However, saying that Ripley and Newt were meant to die, and this was their opportunity to finally bring this organism Ripley had claimed to witness almost 100 years ago to the company. We get a chaotic third act where the alien goes on a tear through the Earth space station, killing everything in sight. Ripley makes an attempt to catch Thomas and blow up the area of the space station that the alien is in. However, Thomas tries to stop her from killing it. This is before Hicks begins the self-destruct process, and all of them begin to sprint out of the area, the alien in pursuit. As it approaches them, Thomas jumps into an escape pod, Ripley, Hicks, and Newt just escaping the portion of the ship as the alien is trapped and blown into outer space as its area is disconnected from orbit and blown up. However, we see Thomas escaping in a shuttlecraft from the area. As he hurtles towards Earth, we see in the corner of the ship an egg, which slowly opens up. So that's my story, guys. What did you think? And what would you guys like to see out of the Alien franchise? Because I just don't see it getting any better with the current direction they are taking for the franchise. I will someday be looking to do a part 2 for this where the alien finally makes it to Earth. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to The Young Cynics. And also the next movie pitch I will be doing is going to be for Solo 2. So subscribe to be updated for that. And this Sunday we'll be doing another bracket tournament where we'll be looking at the greatest superhero films of all time. So until then, I've been Tyrone, last survivor of The Young Cynics.